Welcome to Hancock, the extended cut, where Will Smith is Superman but black and alcoholic. He wakes up on a public bench and goes to fight crime and stop this car chase, doing so in a very drunk and destructive manner. He rips off the roof of the car and sits in it, trying to talk the people inside into surrendering, but they don't do that and light him up with their guns, destroying his container of alcohol and puncturing his sunglasses multiple times, which gets him very mad, so he uses Flintstone logic to stop the car, then lifts it into the air. They all fall on the broken windscreen, which I feel like in the super cracked state it's in, shouldn't be able to hold all their weight. Also, why there's no bullet holes in Hancock's clothes, doesn't matter. He toys with them a bit, bumping them into buildings. The glass continues to hold somehow, then eventually he impales the car on a big spiky building, considers his job done, and goes to drink at a bar. When the local town sluts walk in and the hoiest and bravest of them all approaches Hancock, clearly eager to try out his Super Johnson. He knows that and it's easy pussy, so he takes her back to his place, which is just 2 trailers on a mountain, and she wastes no time getting to his piss pump, ignoring the warnings he's trying to give her about his lethal cum shot. So they start getting at it, and the one pump chump finishes super quick, knotting a bunch of holes through his roof, which traumatizes this poor slut. So she goes to the bathroom and sneaks out to escape the place, driving off in her car, which makes him feel kinda bad and kinda lonely. Then we cut to Ray, some marketing PR guy dude, trying to convince money-hungry corporations to give away shit for free. Can you imagine? What a dumbass. Anyway, Sisyphus obviously fails at this endeavor, and he goes home in his pretty neat classic BMW 2002, gets stuck in traffic and stupidly stops on train tracks. Then a train comes that he does not notice because he dropped his coffee and is busy with that, but then all the beeping alerts him to it. He tries to push the car ahead of him out the way, but no dice. Tries to back the car behind him out the way, but also no dice, and struggles to get out because of his broken handle. Then the seatbelt's still on, so bro just accepts his fate. But then Hancock shows up, chucks his car out the way, and immovable objects the train, causing massive amounts of destruction, but saving Ray. The people gather around and complain, saying very valid things like you could have just picked the car up and flown straight up. But I want to add some more stuff to that. First, who the fuck puts that drink on the dash, bro? Put it between your thighs like a normal person, you dense cunt. Second, he could have totally got out by driving to the left. Third, those piling up containers probably flattened 1 or 2 cars, killing people inside, or at least really badly injuring them. If not that, then at least the train conductors died by smacking their head into whatever metal object that the cockpit of that train is full of when they came to an abrupt halt like that. Anyway, Ray stops all the people from berating Mr. Cock and brings attention to the fact that he's still alive because of him, and thanks him and asks him to fly him back home because his car's gonna fuck right now. So he does that, in the process destroying the car a little bit more. Meets Ray's kid Aaron and his wife, played by Charlize on the Throne, whose name is Mary in this movie. Then Ray invites him in for some spaghetti and meatballs. What up, video game donkey? Mary really doesn't want him to come in, but Ray insists. He comes in, they have dinner, and Hancock keeps using very colorful language around the little boy, so she gets really mad at him. Then Hank... I just realized I cannot keep using the word cock too much without this video getting demonetized. Doesn't matter. Will continues to be a drunken retard, then he leaves, but Ray stops him, thanking him again for what happened, then explains to him what he does for a living, and tells him he wants to help people change their perception of him, an idea hand penis is not very fond of, but Ray gives him his card anyway and tells him to think about it. Dude flies off, and right before bedtime, Mary tells Ray that she thinks it's a bad idea and that Ray should stay away from him, but he's like, if I can't change the world for the better, maybe I can at least change him and he can make a difference. Will hears this conversation because he's sitting on top of the house, eavesdropping on them. Then we cut to him waking up at his place, holding a tiny box, having that aforementioned think. Decides to go back and take Ray up on his offer. He arrives, destroying the street while he lands. Some kids are playing around, and this French kid calls him an asshole. And that kid turns out to be Aaron's bully. And that word, asshole, turns out to be a triggering word for hand dick. And the little French fuck won't stop using it, so he launches him up in the air at 1,000,000 miles an hour and catches him when Ray comes out to talk to him. Again, the whiplash of all this should have really f***ed this kid up. People really underestimate the effects of sudden increases and decreases of velocity. Anyway, Ray shows him examples on the internet of his heroics being nullified by him being an asshole, executing these heroics in a dumbass way, and they want to change it. He tells him he wants to make him into a beloved superhero, showing him superhero comics as an example and going, you see this, and what do you think? Twink. Okay, what about this? Homo. Okay, what about this? Will goes to drink. Ray tries to stop him by grabbing the bottle, so he lifts him up while he's holding the bottle, which I feel should also snap because of the fucking weight of the dude. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm not a glass expert, so maybe it holds. But also there are a couple continuity errors with the all heart stuff that he picked up and put down, and the banana he starts eating when Mary comes in and flicks on the news, showing us the prime definition of a Karen in motion, moaning and bitching about Will and his antics, how he should be in jail for the stuff he does, saying, you might be strong, Mr. Head Crock, but you're not nearly as strong as the US Constitution, buddy. Bullets literally bounce off this guy. What the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, Ray suggests that they roll with this, and he voluntarily goes to jail to show that he's trying to make an effort to be better. And while he's gone, crime will naturally go up and people will beg for him to come back in no time at all. And worst case scenario, they don't do that and he just flies out of there when he gets bored. Will agrees with this plan and hands himself in, doing a big press statement that Ray wrote for him about how it's really tough for him being the only one of his kind. He promises to be better. He'll join AA meetings and anger management meetings while he's in prison and other shit like that, which annoys him, but he does it anyway. And as soon as he enters prison, he finds out that he helped put most of these cunts in here and they all want to fuck with him, but they soon find out that that is not something you want to do. Because at first he tries the peaceful option, but they refuse to cooperate and still want to fuck with him. So he's like, if you don't get out of my way, your head is going up his ass. These two do not heed the human centipede warning and suffer the consequences of f***ing with an unhinged superhero. He shoves black guy's head up white guy's ass. Pretty sure I have to censor this as well, but whatever. Later he gets a visitation from Ray telling him that his sentence might take up to 8 years. Headlock doesn't like the sound of that, so he tries to leave, but Ray stops him, calling him a coward, telling him not to pussy out of this and run away from his calling, to trust the process. All he has to do is be patient. Eventually crime will be unbearable for the people and they'll call in like 2 weeks or something. So Will agrees and stays. He chills a bit in prison, attends assholes anonymous meetings, does some work on his character character with Ray. He's giving him tips like land softly, don't break shit unnecessarily, be nice, etc, etc. He sort of improves and actually talks at the AA meetings. Charlize comes and gives him spaghetti meatballs with Aaron, who gifts him his favorite toy. They leave, then Ray gets him a superhero suit for when they call, and after some more waiting and good behavior, Will does get the call from the chief of police asking him for his help with a bank robbery shootout thing. So before going, he cleans himself up a bit using his nails to shave. And isn't that sort of a waste of time? Like, people could be dying right now. Fuck your beard, dude, just go. Also, a dude cut a hole through glass with his nails, and now he's shaving with his nails. So what does he use to clip his nails? His teeth? Probably. Doesn't matter. He arrives at the scene and lands without doing any damage. The police chief tells him that the bank robbers have some sort of heavy weaponry, like a 50 cal or something. Will goes in to save a pinned down officer with bullets bouncing off him and his apparently also bulletproof suit somehow. He gets to the pinned down officer, asks for permission, ever the gentleman, to touch her and carry her away, then protects her with the car. They start shooting at him with 50 cals that, in my opinion, still should be penetrating whatever the fuck that car is made out of and hitting that woman, but whatever. He gets her to safety, then goes in to end the shit himself, swooping in and taking all the bank robbers one by one. Actually, I think he took these two in one shot, but doesn't matter, until the final main bank robber boss is left, and he finds out that he strapped a bunch of C4 to the hostages with a pressure trigger he's holding in his hand, and if he lets go of it, the people will blow up. So Handjob can't kill him, and he threatens to blow up the people if he doesn't help him escape with his loot. Handclock refuses to help Goatee Dude, and Goatee Dude calls him an asshole, which gets him triggered. So he flattens the top of this light, sharpens it with his nails, and launches it at Goatee Dude's hand, cutting it off, and walks out with his hand still on the trigger. The hostages are safe, so he gives it to the chief of police and tells him to keep his hand on it until he gets, the bombs off the people. The rest of the bystanders applaud him, and he flies off a proper hero with Ray celebrating at home, watching all the shit unfold on the news. I could have sworn at the beginning of this sequence his house was full of people. Was he having a party? Did he kick them all out? Also, wouldn't cutting someone's hand off make it go limp and release the trigger and blow these people up? Or does it still have some grabbing force? I don't know, doesn't matter. Han, male reproductive organ, Ray and Mary go to have a fancy dinner to celebrate, and Ray tells him the story of how he met Mary. See, his first wife died giving birth to Aaron, and he was stuck in the supermarket looking for baby diapers, being super confused. She was there, she saw him, thought it was cute, they started talking, she helped him, and bingo bongo. Then he asks Han Rooster about his origin story, tells him that he woke up in a hospital in Miami like a normal dude, suffering from head injury because he apparently tried to stop a mugging or something like that, and the head injury he got caused him to not be able to remember anything because of amnesia and stuff, and all he had on him at that time was a couple movie tickets and some bubblegum. Then he healed super quick in like an hour, and while checking out from the hospital they asked him for his John Hancock, which is slang for his signature, and he thought that was his name, so he just rolled with it, and it stuck. This all happened 80 years ago because he doesn't age, and the saddest thing for him was that nobody was there to claim him when he woke up. Hearing this story makes Mary cry, and she apologizes to him, and he's like, don't worry about it, you didn't do anything. Then when the night is over and they go home, Han Block carries a drunk ass Ray upstairs while he goes, man, you gon' do great, you gon' fix everything, dog. He tucks him in and goes down to say goodbye to Mary, but she notices that he has a bruise on his hand, and he kisses her, she kisses back, but then she throws him through the fucking wall, flies over to him in the street and tells him, if Ray finds out about me, you're dead. Next morning, Ray wakes up with a hole in his house and his fridge planted in someone else's car. He's like, what the fuck? And Mary's like, Handjob sneeze, and this is the aftermath. Then tries to convince him that they should take a spontaneous vacation right now, really far away, but then Han, I'm running out of shit to say instead of cock, arrives, and Mary's like, thanks for chewing our fridge out of our house, buddy. He's like, yeah, that's cause I'm allergic to bullshit. Then Ray gets an important call, which he answers by pressing the number 5 button. Is that an option in these phones? I kind of feel like that's bullshit. Whatever. It's an important business call about Handclock, who's currently testing out how super Mary is while Ray is distracted on the phone. Tells her that they need to talk about all this stuff. He has a lot of questions, and she agrees to talk to him at his place later today, although she doesn't know where it is and he never told her, but maybe he did off camera, or maybe she already knew. Doesn't matter. She drives there instead of flying there for some reason, and she's all dressed up, tits almost falling out, got eyeliner on, looking all schmexy, like, damn bitch, you didn't have to do all that, you're just going to talk to him, not do a fucking goth sex tape. Anyway, she makes him a deal. You ask, I answer honestly, and when I'm done and you're satisfied, you leave LA. Muchacho agrees and starts asking a bunch of questions and finds out that they're the same, but actually she's stronger, and she doesn't really explain who they are. She just says they're like angels or called different names, but they're the last two of their kind because everybody else died. Then tries to convince him that they're siblings, and he's like, that's a lie. Sisters don't kiss back like you did. This ain't fucking Alabama. Deals off. Let's go see what Ray thinks about this. Hey, come back here, you black bitch. And they start fighting all the way over to the city. By the way, her car disappears when she flies after him. Anyway, while that's happening, Ray's having an important meeting about Handjob, but he's using this as another opportunity to restart Allheart, his philanthropy bullshit project. Everyone inside doesn't really care and just wants to talk about Handjob, while the two superhumans are still fighting and land at the Hollywood Boulevard. She keeps talking about how it always ends the same way with him. She dealt with this crap for thousands of years and she's done. She's finally happy. She wants him to leave her alone. He's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you crazy bitch. And it turns out that the word crazy is her trigger word. So she starts a fucking storm and throws a cement truck at him. They start fighting even harder now with tornadoes and shit. Normal people are panicking all over. Master Chief runs for his life. Then while fighting through the air, they blast through the room Ray was having a meeting in, land nearby with her yelling out how much she hates him, and he tells her, I'm sorry for whatever I did to you. Plus, you are gorgeous, which is a very out of place line in my opinion. It just sounds out of place as well. He's like someone cut it out from a different clip and shoved it in there. Anyway, Ray sees this and they see Ray seeing this, so he drives back home. Mary lands there. Hard Rock is right behind her, and Ray demands an explanation for all this shit. So bitch explains some more stuff. They super strong and immortal. The rest of their kind paired up and died, and Will is actually her husband, but they broke up a long time ago. He just doesn't remember it. And she says whatever they are, they're built in twos and they're drawn to each other. No matter how far away they get from each other, they're always end up somehow meeting each other. And even though it's fated that they be together, she's like, fuck fate, I can choose for myself. So it was like, and you chose to let me think I'm alone. Nice. So she leaves to like clear her head maybe, and Will goes to get every retard's favorite solution, not solution to every problem, alcohol. But then he notices that the store clerk was being robbed right before he came in, and the robbers are just hiding behind the counter. So he throws one of them into the fridge, and the other guy holds the clerk at gunpoint. So Will 1v1s him with a chocolate bar. He wins, but in the process he gets shot twice, and the bullets actually penetrate his skin. He gets rushed to the hospital, dazed and confused. Ray sees this on the news, so he takes his son and goes over to the hospital, where he sees Mary already there talking to Will, explaining some more shit to him, how he's becoming mortal again because they're close to each other. It's a thing that their kind can do, so they can live normal human lives, grow old, die, all that shit. And the sooner and the farther he goes away from her, the stronger he'll be, the faster he'll recover and all that stuff. And she shows him a bunch of scars on his body and dates each scar back to a time in the past, some of them thousands of years old, when people tried to kill them both and he protected her with everything he had. Last time it happened was 80 years ago, and he got amnesia from that head wound. So when she came to see him in the hospital, he didn't recognize her, so she just left, thinking that's the best thing to do for him and her. He gets to keep saving people like he wants to do, and she doesn't have to suffer seeing the guy she loves get beat up all the fucking time within an inch of his life, because she says every time they're together, they come after him through her. So she left him that last time to protect them both. You feel me? What I don't get is how the cement mixer she whacked on his fucking head did no damage at all to him, because if I remember correctly, there was already a bruise on his hand before that. That means he was already becoming sort of mortal. Did the effects just peak at the liquor store? Maybe. Doesn't matter. While she was explaining all that, why the asshole dude and compressed neck guy arrive. They're here to shoot and kill Will, but she's like, get down, Mr. President, and takes the shots for him. Then he eats his bed at the former human centipede duo, who met the now one-handed goatee dude, bank robber guy, in prison, and he convinced them to break out with him and take revenge on Hancock, who fights back by throwing compressed neck guy out of the window while the doctors tend to Mary. Then he wastes so much time fighting other guys by throwing onto the wall and stuff when he could have thrown them out of the window immediately as well. He gets stabbed by enlarged sphincter dude, which Mary feels because they're so connected that they can feel each other's pain and sort of share the pain load, I think, or at least from Mary's side, from what I can see. Because prolapsed anus dude gets a few good licks in him, chokes him and stuff, which is all shit. Mary feels she gets choked out and loses her pulse because of that, while Will grabs him by the balls and throws him out the window finally. Then goatee dude shows up and starts shooting at Will, taunting him while Will tries to approach, sinking his shots with the defibrillator shocks that Mary's getting, which I like to think is the reason why Will can take so many and keep approaching him, because, you know, sharing the pain load or whatever. But eventually he falls to the guy's feet, who taunts him a bit more and is about to kill him, but then Ray shows up with a fireman's axe and cuts his other hand off and then kills him. I think hand job lays there for a second, then gets up and limps over to the nearest window, jumps out, landing in the middle of the street. Mary's heart monitor beeps. He tries to fly away, but he's too weak, so he just leaps away as far as he can. Another pulse happens in her heart. He keeps trying to fly away, taking bigger and greater leaps and bounds, till eventually he has enough power to fly away and her heart restarts, coming back to life. Then we cut to 1 month later where they're all okay. Ray has come to terms with his wife being a super immortal bitch that is a million times stronger than him, and most importantly has chosen him over Will, making him a Hancock way before we know about bald ass Jada, who stays away so he can keep them both safe and he can keep his powers so he can keep saving people. He calls Ray to show him a surprise up in the sky. He put the all heart symbol on the fucking moon for him as a gift, and Ray goes, I get in trouble for that? Actually, I don't think so, because no one owns the moon, right? Except for Gru, maybe. So technically speaking, you can do whatever the fuck you want on it if you can get there. What I'm actually wondering is, so does that mean that Hancock can breathe in outer space? Does he even require oxygen? How did he do that? Did he hold his breath and go up there and do it in super speed? Plus, did he use paint? You can't paint the moon, it's dusty. So did he use like red brick dust? What did he use? Doesn't matter. All stupid questions, who cares? This movie gets 85 water balloons out of Where's Part 2, damn it?